That's so many first timers here. You really better go to event before. You didn't ask, so you know the whole great look. Okay, well, Joanne is going to get a badge after she has finished. But, she obviously needs your love and support, so please give it up for Joanne!
I'm ready. Right, I'm going to talk today about something that makes me really angry, something that I really hate, and hate obviously is a very, very strong emotion. You probably want to know what it is that I hate, and in a moment or two you'll find out. We probably should have had a trigger warning for this. Actually, it might be a bit too late now, but this is a long 15 seconds. Michael Gove, Secretary of State for Education, a man I'm not especially fond of, and it's quite hard writing this because I actually found that my hate had crystallised, that it had become very visceral, and I couldn't actually remember why it was that I hated this man so very much that I feel rage when I see him. There were many, many reasons that I hate him. I did some Googling, I talked to people, and I remembered many of the things that I hate about him. One person said to me, who knew him personally, he's a very nice guy, but I wouldn't trust him to run a whelk stall, let alone the state education system. So I thought, I didn't believe the nice guy, but his self-assurance is something that makes me especially angry. He believes that he's right, that what he pronounces is correct, and that he could possibly fly a plane and combat aliens, and certainly that despite having no experience in the education sector, he can run an education system. Like many Tories, like many Labour politicians too, this millionaire, Michael Gove, claimed a lot of money from expenses. He flipped his second home allowance on a number of occasions. He furnished his home. He originally offered to pay back £34.99 for a child's cot bed mattress, but he did eventually pay back £7,000. There he is, Michael Gove, horrible man. He told us recently that children in this country have no worthwhile knowledge of history, that they don't know anything really, that they know very little historical facts. He based that on some surveys that he had found, and when he was asked under the Freedom of Information Act where they came from, Premier Inn, the surveys were run by Premier Inn and UK TV Gold. They were surveys that were run for PR purposes to promote very particular, specific things, not to tell us anything actually about the knowledge of our country's youth. Not too impressive when that came out, really. Apostrophes. I like grammar. One of my favourite catchphrases is the apostrophe does not make the plural. I like grammar a lot, quite passionate about it, but I don't think it's right to be testing small children on literacy skills. I think it stresses them, I think it stresses the teachers. It's not the right thing to be doing when they should be learning stuff. The Bibles. £370,000 of admittedly privately funded money, but money that could be gathered for other purposes. £370,000 is spent sending a copy of the Bible to every school in the country, presented by the Secretary of State for Education. Just a hint of a vanity project there. And I would say that most school libraries in this country probably have a Bible, maybe even two, maybe even one or two in every classroom. Michael is not interested in listening to that kind of thing. He doesn't listen to parents, he doesn't listen to teachers, he doesn't listen to governors. There are many schools now being forced to become academies, whether they wish to or not. In fact, the Ofsted inspectors are being instructed to mark schools in such a way that they have to accept academy status. And a lot of people are angry about that because when you're forced into accepting academy status, you have to find a sponsor. If you can't find one in a very short space of time, a sponsor is imposed upon you, and they are often people who have agendas that they want to impose upon the school and upon the teacher within the school. The people he does listen to, the parents he does listen to, are people like Toby Young, who'd like money to set up their own schools. Toby Young, a man who thinks that wheelchair ramps in schools are an affectation of political correctness. So these people, they can get money to run what is effectively a private school with state funding. School buildings, it's quite an attractive extension to this school. Curvy doors, glass, it was award-winning. Those kinds of things are now not allowed. There will be no more curves in school, there will be no more glass walls, there will be no more employing award-winning architects. There will be set plans, which schools will have to use. And they will be rigid and they will be square and there will be no enclosed playground space because that's expensive. Playing fields are being sold off. More playing fields have been sold off in the last 4 years of this administration than under the previous Labour government in total, in all the years they were in power. Another thing that's made me very angry is this Twitter feed, Tory Education News, which is run by Michael Gove's private advisors and which routinely bullies people like Michael Rosen, one of our finest children's authors. But the thing that makes me most angry of all, the reason I'm most angry, why I most hate Michael Gove, is my daughter Lily. She's 7 years old, she'll be 8 in August. She's brilliant, although there are times when I would cheerfully leave her out for the foxes, and tonight was one of those times. But she is a delight, but she also has complex needs, what I prefer to call a weird brain. She finds it difficult to learn and she needs a lot of support in school, and she gets that support. We're very, very lucky. She is statemented, which means that the support that she needs is written down and defined, and that will stay with her throughout the rest of her primary school years. That's guaranteed. She'll get what she needs. That is changing. The way that special needs funding is provided is changing, and schools won't get the money in the same way. And children like Lily and other children with special needs are already finding it's harder to get places in schools because the schools won't get the funding they need to support them. So, Michael Gove, a man I could never tire of punching. That's me.